Okay, so I'm going to be demonstrating how do you create an invoice in Xero. So the first thing is obviously you would be in your Xero file. And if you are on the view that looks like mine, where it's got more than the 4 tabs, you're going to go to sales. If you are in the normal view, which is the older one, which just has the 4, you're going to go into business, right? So if I click on sales, you'll see it gives me all of these options: invoices, online payments, quotes, products and services, and customers, right? So for now, I'm going to actually just go in and I'm going to create an invoice. So please keep in mind that you have to have a customer in Xero in order to do an invoice for them, right? So I've already got one invoice here already, which I'm going to utilize for another video. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to create a new contact just as a refresher for you guys. So we're going to go contacts and then I'm going to go customers. And I'm just going to create a random new contact. So I'm going to say, I don't know, BYZ PTY Limited. And that's my account number is that. And I'm just going to give it a person's, I'm just going to put Shanice's details. Oh, sorry, Gopichand. Okay, and then I am going to put her email address in for now. Okay, and then I need to put in, as you know, you've got to put in the customer information. So for now, I'm just going to put a random billing address. So we're going to just use, let's just see, 102 Stephen. There. Okay, that used to be my old work address. So I've just put that in. And I am not going to fill anything else out, right? I'm just going to go save and close. Okay. So now I've got the contact ready. So this is actually another place where you can create an invoice from. So if I'm in the contact and I've just created it, I can actually click here and say new, and I can say sales invoice. So I'm going to create a new sales invoice. Okay. So you can see now that my contact has already populated with BYZ. But if I wanted to edit this and do another customer, I could actually delete that and put it in there. So when Xero opens or the invoice opens, you'll see that it has this information, which is in white, which is basically your invoice, but it also has this part in blue, which allows for online payments. We as a firm have not made use of this because we don't have any online payment features other than paying directly into our bank account. But if for an organization that uses things like Google Pay or maybe you have PayFast and things. I'm not sure if PayFast works with it, but that's something you can look into. So when we are doing the invoice, obviously the first part is you have to tell Xero who is the invoice for. So in our case, it's BYZ. It defaults to the invoice, the date on which you're creating the invoice. So today is the 1st of October, so it's defaulting to that. And then the due date is you have to put this in. So if you do not put in a due date on your invoice, you won't be able to approve it and email it through to the client. So I'm going to put this as the 3rd of October. And you can see now that I have invoice 002. So Xero automatically numbers your invoice. I have already created invoice 001. You will see in my previous, in the previous view, you'll saw there was an invoice there already. So it's defaulted to number 2. Reference, we don't have to put anything in the reference. You can if you want to, but I'm going to keep this blank. I will show you where reference becomes more applicable when we are doing a repeating invoice, right? So now I've got to tell Xero, okay, what is it that I am selling or I am invoicing this customer for, right? So you can see at the moment, I've got this one called training, which I actually created for another invoice that I've raised on the system. So maybe what I'm going to do for this one is, okay, let's create a new item. And so this is basically like your price list or your selling list, right? So as for example, as us as an accounting practice, we have things like submitting of income tax return, registering with SARS, submission of EMP 201. So there's a whole lot of different things. Okay, so you first have to put in a code. So for now, I'm gonna just call this, let's see, I'm gonna create a GON, right? And for now, I'm actually putting this as donation income. So maybe somebody is pledging to your organization that they're going to donate to you on a fixed basis. Every single month, maybe you're raising one, right? You're going to raise an invoice to them. So for now, I'm calling it that. And then you can see it's defaulted to tick sell because this is a sales invoice, right? I can put in a sales price, but I don't have to. Can choose the account. And if I choose the account, you'll see if I put donation received, right? It automatically populated the tax rate because I had no VAT in my chart of accounts. And what this does is that every time you choose DON as your thing, it will take it to donations received and it will populate on your invoice itself. So I'm going to say save. And you'll see now that it's populated the item, it's populated the description. I have nothing under price, but I have something under account, right? So I'm going to now say, okay, I'm going to invoice this person, and maybe they want to donate 1,000 Rand a month to us. So now I've got to say which project. So I'm going to take this to project C. I just need to check why there's an additional project column here. I think I may have hit that when I did my tracking categories. And now I can now approve and email this, right? So if I want to preview it, I can just click preview and it'll show me what it looks like. So you're seeing it's still saying draft because we haven't approved it. There's the organization details, that's the customer details, and this is the details of the invoice, and this is the information in terms that I've included as a standard thing on all my invoices. Where must the amount be deposited into, right? So you can download it as a PDF. And you can actually add in your logos and things. So that was information we covered when we did the setup. Okay. So I'm not going to click approve an email because I don't want to send this to Shanice. So I'm just going to click on the arrow and then I'm going to click on approve. So if we now click on this little, it's called a breadcrumb, I think, but if we click on that link, it'll take you back to your invoices view. And it will show you that, okay, in this file, we now have 2 invoices that are awaiting payment. And that is how simple it is to create an invoice. I'm going to show you next how to edit an invoice that has already been created. And then we will work on how to do a quote and how to do a repeating invoice.